Alright, well, good morning and welcome to Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Ekpo Temple. On today's edition of the show, that are very ready for the National Youth Games. Junior D Tigers secure sport in FIBA under 18 women's Afro basket and in football. Norway's team doctor reveals Odegaard's injury duration. Details of this and many more will be yours when we come back from this short time. Please don't go anywhere. Earlier that it's going to be a very wonderful show this morning and a lot to talk about in the sporting world. Ekpo Temple is my name. I have a man and Michael here. I know how we do it on Thursday morning. Mikey, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Temple. Good morning and good morning to our viewers out there.
We'll start with tech ball this morning, and of course, Rivers State seems to be the head of tech ball when it comes to Nigeria activities as the International Federation of Fitness and Body Building, and the Rivers State tech ball have embarked on a serious campaign against non-communicable disease in the state. It was made known by the president of the International Body Fitness, Lekama Soye, during a visit to the vice chairman of the Rivers State tech ball, Adebola. Lekama used the opportunity to reveal the plans towards upcoming Nigerian Fitness Challenge slated for October 1st to 30th at the River State Park. This is a demonstration of continuity in activities of tech ball, which of course looks like okay, let's see what we can do to partner to ensure that we have people who are fit as well as tech ball activities to be showcased. Not many know about tech ball, but with this blend of partnership, it looks like they really want to showcase tech ball via humanitarian activities.
Yes, for me, I think it's about creating awareness and also using the platform to also herald the essence of trying to enlighten so many people out there about this communicable disease, and also using it as a tool as well to also promote their own agenda, which is to make tech ball a mainstay right here in the state. I think you talk about tech ball in the country, Rivers State is one among those first country that is also known for the skills that they possess in terms of tech ball. So for me, I think it's a good blend of trying to use the sport as a makeshift to also create awareness in terms of the health issue. I think that they are concerned for the well-being of the citizens is very, very paramount here. Despite the fact that tech ball is a sport, but then there are so many followers in terms of sports, so it is a great avenue to also use tech ball as a contact point towards reaching so many people to herald the news or spread the knowledge of how to get yourself protected from this some of the non-communicable diseases out there, which I think is a good idea.
It is a good idea, and away from tech ball now, let's talk about the ongoing National Youth Games in Delta State, as the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Obeyovori, has said that the state is very ready to host this year's National Youth Games that started yesterday. And of course, he disclosed this while speaking to journalists shortly after inspecting the facilities at the Stadium Stadium. And yesterday we saw the opening ceremony in beautiful style. It looks like all is set, and they can go ahead to do this particular. The governor, who inspected the swimming pool, shooting range, and other facilities at the indoor sports hall, was conducted around by the chairman of the local organizing committee, Chief Solomon Ogba, and top officials of the state. The governor is very highly elated, getting to host this one again. At least this is his first time. It was the last time it wasn't him, but it looks like he's well prepared to manage the situation and also fund this program.
Yes, for me, I think as the executive governor of the Delta State, the governor need to be aware, need to be on the know of the activities as in terms of trying to host the National Youth Game, which is for me very necessary. It need to be conducted around to some of the facilities on ground to see if it actually meets with the standard. Because if anything goes wrong out there in this year's hosting of the National Youth Game, then the governor, which is the #1 citizen of Delta State, is to be called to question, and that is why he deemed it necessary to go around the facilities, and see the level of preparation or readiness of the local organizing committees led by no other person than Solomon Ogba. I think for me, if there's anything to go by from what we've heard from the statement released by the local organizing committee, Solomon Ogba, I think Delta State, they are ready for this very one. Now we hope they are going to even surpass last edition, glamorous outing, in this year's edition. And for Delta State, I think they've been doing pretty well in terms of sport development, and that is why they keep getting the nod to host the National Youth Game, which for me I think is very impressive. And I hope that other states as well will follow suit, so that we evenly develop sporting infrastructure across board.
Of course, 5,776 athletes from 29 states had arrived and registered for the games ahead of the opening ceremony we saw yesterday. Only 4 games will be played, and such as karate, multi-door hall, para table tennis at the indoor sport hall, stadium, and of course a lot of venue have also been situated for this particular one. So let's hope that the activities of what we were seeing there will continue to be elicit reactions in different ways. All right, away from that, let's talk about happenings from Junior Kada and Nigeria Junior D Tigers have secured a place in the semi-finals of this year's under-18 women's Afro basket, Mike.
Yeah, I think it's an impressive one. It is the first time in the history of the under-18 that both the male and female under-18 team were able to make it through to the semi-final of this year's competition, which for me I think is a record-breaking one. And for the J Tigers, coming up against Egypt that actually defeated them in their first game, it was more like a revenge mission for them, which they did in a magical fashion. They showed the class or golfing class between the two. As the first time outing against the same Egyptian that ended in a defeat, was more like a litmus test of what to expect in this crucial stage, which for me I think is very vital. And they needed to get that revenge, and it was a very sweet one for me. Courtesy of that victory, I think the team is primed to at least get one of the 2 tickets allotted for the continent of Africa for the under-19 World Cup out there in Switzerland, which for me I think it is a good one. We must continue to support them both in the male and female category to ensure that at least we continue to grow, because we talk about basketball right here in the country. I think it's growing in leaps and bounds. Don't forget how Rivers, hoopers were able to go out there, made a name for themselves as well. You can't also forget the D Tigers, who also went to the Afro Basketball Championship without proper planning and arrangement. Less than a month that Rena Wakama was brought in, she was still able to steady the ship and went there out there to win that very one. Went to the Olympic, did pretty well, surpassed the previous outing of all African teams in the history of the Paris Olympics. So I think basketball generally is growing in leaps and bounds. The only concern we are having or challenge is about the D Tigers, talking about the senior men national team. If not, I think we are doing pretty well, and it's a nice one. Let's hope that this under-18 players will continue to grow, pass through the rank from under-18 to under-19 to 23, and some of them could get promotion or selected for the senior national team, as some of the big names will surely leave the scene when the time comes, as you need some of these capable junior hands pass through the rank, continue to garner experience, continue to get the needed exposure out there, and that is how it will be very, very easy for them to take up the baton in the national scene, talking about the senior team out there, which for me I think is a great one.
Of course, it is a great one, getting to see the J Tigers, doing so well at the level of the under-18, women Afro baskets, and Nigeria's male and female not doing badly at all. You remember, or you recall that they lost 72-60 earlier in the tournament before they were able to stun, the Egyptians, to get into the semi-finals, yesterday. The Ugandans, of course, also got their own. They won the group, but it looks like Nigerians had a better outing, and so let's get to see how far they can go. The Junior Tigers to keep their foot on the gas in a third quarter final, scoring the Glopas at 17-33, ending the 55-36 favor of the West African. That's why facing foul, Nigerian aggressive defensive play and smooth offensive execution proved decisive in that victory over the last edition's runners-up. Congratulations to Team Nigeria there. I will hope that they can even go do better in subsequent edition. All right, let's move away from that now, and let's talk about tennis, where a lot is also happening, and the Great Britain quest to reach the knockout stage, of this year's Billie Jean, wasn't easy at all. Even if they have of course, they rested Jack Draper, but somehow they did everything they could to ensure that they continue. The ATP Tour is on in the various quarter, and it looks like they don't want to sleep over. After the last Grand Slam of the year, Mike, a lot of ATPs are still ongoing, and Great Britain. You know how we do it. They have the likes of Dan Evans. Draper is not part of it, but the plan is to get to the Billie Jean competition, and maybe if they have the best hands, they can move over there. But my thinking is, can they, even if without Jack Draper, can we get the likes of Dan Evans who can represent them equitably at that level?
I think it's looking likely, taking a look at the way that, the game went yesterday, despite the fact that Jack Draper, one of their, joker in their team, got rested. The man on showcase was still able to come from behind to turn the game around to its head and got the victory in that very one. And I think it's been a long time that the Great Britain, their players have been coming very close to making a very strong statement, but it's just that when they are getting close to the success to cross that sea, it looks as though something will just punctuate their effort. I hope that they're able to change that tide this season, the Billie Jean Cup, by making sure they get to the final. But I tell you, it was an impressive start for the Great Britain. Let's hope that they can continue to flag the flag very high as the competition progresses.
As the competition progresses and the WTA quarterfinal, Great Britain's Sonai Kabal beat Japan's Mai Hotama in straight set at the Jasmine Open in Tunisia to reach the first WTA quarterfinals of her career. Kada, who is the British number 4, cruised out of the last 16 with a dominant 6-2, 6-2 success. The 22-year-old from Brighton is ranked 46 places below Hotama at 151 in the world. She took a 3-0 lead in both sets and closed each other despite her opponent pulling games back. Beating Hontama means she will play either number 30 Diane Parry or world number 130 Yulia Starasheva in the last 8 today. Away from that, let's talk about the UFC, where former UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has dropped out of the UFC pound for pound rankings for the first time in 5 years, following his recent submission loss to South Africa's Dricus Desis, the Nigerian-born fighter who has long been a staple in the UFC top 15, now faces an uncertain future as he contemplates his next move in this sport. So, I mean, the worst thing that happened to him was the loss to his African counterpart. That really devastated him, and of course, his ranking has been affected.
Yeah, surely. You expected Israel Adesanya to drop down on the pecking order in terms of good ranking out there. Don't forget, even before the fight against Dricus Du Plessis, the South African, he had been away from the game, from the octagon for nearly a year, and that could also have hampered his progress on the world ranking, because if you stay very inactive, you are not taking part in one active fight or the other, definitely he must drop down in the ranking. And coming back after a year into the octagon ring again, losing against his South African Du Plessis will further another serious blow on his quest to maintain that reckoning in the world ranking, which for me proved very abortive when he lost that very one against the South African in a pinfall account. I think for me, Israel Adesanya just need to start working on himself. If he truly wants to remain relevant in the octagon, it's high time he get down to business, get down to proper training, see if he can be able to bounce back. After he lost his last, do go down, not in a positive stride in terms of the world ranking. I think the man, it look as though his wins out there to get back to that reckoning. But I tell you, the drop in ranking of Israel Adesanya.
If he's not without any bet anymore, and I'm just thinking what he will do to regain back his go back to fight other challengers at it, and then like Anthony Joshua begin to rebuild again. I'm just thinking how he will go, because relevant.
It's going to be a big worry for Israel Adesanya, because as it is right now, nobody will want to, challenge him, because he has lost it all, lost everything. He's no longer that relevant in the octagon. Challengers will come your way because you also use it as a platform to also promote their own career as well. Israel Adesanya having lost everything, I think no longer relevant. I doubt if any strong fighter will want to come out and challenge him direct. I think he needs to do a lot to get one or two decent fights out there and get back to reckoning. Because I tell you, if he tie down his hand under his arm, I tell you it's going to be, maybe, just maybe the last, we are going to hear of Israel Adesanya in terms of relevance. So a lot on his desk, actually, as it is right now, to prove to the world that indeed he's still a
is State Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television.
We graced the occasion today alongside the governor of the state who went there yesterday to also inspect some of the facilities. So we hope that everything goes according to plan as it is, because I think for Delta State, having hosted this very one before, they also have what it takes. They know what is at stake as well. It's going to be a very great one. Let's see what it brings out there in terms of their cultural display.
Cultural display, and of course, a lot of from yesterday, Mike, 29 states on ground, and it looks like we're yet to know the total. It says 5,557 athletes on ground, pending other states that have not arrived. And one of those states is River State.
Yeah, just like we talked about River State and their quest or readiness to take part in this year's edition National Youth Game. We haven't had any official commissioner of the state whether River State athlete is going to be part and parcel of this very one or not. It still remain, to be seen. But then we await. Just today, some activity actually kick-started 2 days ago, and today it will be official, and 4 games is set to take place in different sporting strata. Yet the State Commissioner for Sport hasn't come out with any concrete information as regarding the parts, and we are still waiting. More like leaving people, rivers, people hanging on the wall.
Let's move away from that now and let's talk some football news. Mike, okay, that does occur to me now. The Grand Slams are over, and what we'll get to see now is more of Masters and then some ATPs for the Australian Open. And so it looks like what should be next now? Some players who have not done very well.
To go on maybe some break out there after the season Grand Slam came to an end. But some players as well will not be relaxing on their oars. They will want to go ahead of the next season opener as well. So for me, these are basically what players will be hoping. Some of them who had a very great season as well will want to take our time to go on.
Communication at the moment, Alaji is saying he is still in charge. That authenticates the purported rumor that he has been sacked from his work, or he has resigned.
Yes, I think even the coach himself, who is the man in the eyes of the stock, as regarding this clickbait information that he has stepped down or quitted his position. I think he came out a few days ago, just immediately after they arrived, from Rwanda. Stephen Keshi also addressed the press. Also, he pointed to the fact that it looked as though it was a misinterpretation for him. He said that he was going to sit with the NFF technical officials and the NFF committees after these 2 games to have a talk with them. He didn't actually say that he's stepping down as well. So for me, he had already doused that fear or tension that was on the makes it even easier to work, easily among the players and coaches, and by so doing they get a positive result. So it will be a very disappointing one for me that will wake up after the 2 games that Austin Eguavoen played and will hear that he has resigned. That would have been a serious worry, because bringing in another man, a foreign coach or any other local coach, is going to destabilize the unity already seen in the team. The issue of spending money out there, of course, it would have been better saved, for some of them out there to share the money around and bringing in a local-based coach. You will be paid in Naira, and that is a great thing. Finidi George was paid in Naira, and that drives me to another, critical aspect of the Nigerian Super Eagles and the NFF activity. If over the years, when we employ foreign expatriates, we pay them in dollars, in pounds sterling, and you employ a Nigerian coach, you begin to pay such coach in dollars. Why? I mean in Naira, rather. It shouldn't be so. If you want to employ a foreign expatriate, we are using Naira here as our fee skyrocketed because we have dollarized, the system right here. Why will you complain? People that is at the end of affair, very strategic, not even promoting it. So it's a big worry. We need to start from there. You are employing a foreign coach. Negotiate with the coach based on your Naira equivalent, and not to start paying in dollars, because by so doing, you are even on a disadvantaged side. But if you pay in Naira, I think the money you know, will also be of a value to us, because you are also promoting our currency and also, you know, devaluing the foreign currency, and by so doing you are also valuing the Nigerian naira. So for me, I think that is the only critic. No, time will not even permit us to go through the
but Mike, but the truth, yeah, I understand. We can't go through the government of this issue, but look at what I'm thinking. You have a team, yeah. Mike, okay. A coach says you pay me with, you know, gotten ourselves to that standpoint where coaches or expatriates, foreign expatriates, have more say with their agent. This is because we are always in a haste to get them. The interim basis who is doing so well, because so well in quotes, the 2 games he has not lost, he has not conceded. So you can think that, okay, the pressure has doused a little bit. So isn't it the best time to get a coach? I'll start thinking of a coach, discuss the time of the contract, because we're not in a haste. Next month we still have an interim, and the man will want to take over the affairs of the Super Eagles. So I'm sure that any negotiation now, this is just might be the best time, because there's no competition coming up except for the AFCON qualifier, which we still have somebody who are ready to sacrifice and also show patriotism where necessary. So I'm asking, is this not the best time for the NFF to look out for a good coach? Is it when they have problem now with Osne Gabon and the man resigns or drops his pen, you know, that they will now, or if he loses a game, pressure will now start coming and they want to start mounting. So I mean, a lot of persons have been talking about, since the last game, you know, there in Rwanda, a lot of persons have been reacting to the issue of having a coach or not to have a coach.
For me, I think it will be very hasty at this point in time to start looking for a coach while Osne Guavon is still you know, trying to steady the ship out there. It's about
no, but it does not affect his, I mean, it does not affect, except for the fact, except he's also contending to be a coach, a permanent coach of the Super Eagles, except for that reason.
It was the NFF that appointed him on interim basis. The coach, talking about Austin Guavon, might be eyeing the permanent position with the Super Eagles, and if he does well in the remaining games that is remaining, and possibly even navigate through the water of the you know, dicey situation in the World Cup qualifying group that we find out, if he manages to navigate through and get us a World Cup ticket, I mean, he has, you know, fulfilled the mission. And at that point, so many expectations, so many Nigerians will also want him to stay. And then it would be hard folly to say that he just woke up one day and you heard that he has been sacked or he has stepped down and got a new coach. You know, Nigerians, 99.9% of us, we are coaches even without FIFA license A or even FIFA license D coaching grade. That is why you begin to hear different outcry from different quarters. Why? Why did they let him go? He did very well. At least Super Eagles, we are beginning to have a shape, a pattern of play, very exciting kind of football, coordinated. He qualified us for the African Cup of Nations, brought us back to the front row in the World Cup qualifying counter where we were in a very dicey position. At this time, it looks as though, what is wrong with them? So many questions and so many agitation will come from now. So first, the basic thing is to allow Austin Guavon steady the ship. Let's see how far he can take this team in the African Cup of Nations qualifier, and also see if we can be able to redeem our image in the World Cup qualifying match before, you know, we start making an arrangement for any other thing. Because if he does well, like I say right now, then you start negotiating with a foreign coach right now, while Austin Guavon did pretty well, he's still there, and you just wake up one day to hear that we brought no now. So I think for me the major focus is about allowing Austin Guavon to see if he can be able to achieve a very positive result, looking at the target, you know, and the what is on ground before us, the African Cup of Nations qualifier and the World Cup qualifier. If you can make something good out of this you know, situation, then we can give him the job on a permanent basis.
Giving the job on a permanent basis, and let's get to see how far things will pan out. And Mike, let's move on. It looks like talking about coaches, or Elsne Guavon and Okocha, the NFF will, you know, have given them to whether it's from the NFF or their personal pocket, they will be attending the CAF symposium to stage in Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan.
Yeah, as ex-international people who also have, you know, fly the flag of Africa very high at the apex level, you know, they need to have their own say, they need to have their own contribution. And for us in Okocha and some of the internationals right here in the continent of Africa, whenever CAF organizes this kind of a sensitive activities, some of these great legends, you call them, need to be in attendance in this very one. Just like maybe you want to do the African Cup of Nations draw, you expect them to be there, so they are the reason why we still have Africa name is being ranked so high, because they contributed a lot during their playing days, and now that they have retired, they need to also be part and parcel of the process as well, because don't forget, one day some of them might even vie to become a CAF president or a CAF executive official, and they need to start learning the basics of how these things are being done.
They need to start learning the basics of how these things are being done, which is very, very important. Mike, time is not our friend, but let's move over now to some other interesting issues. Ghana will not be playing in their home ground. CAF has come out to express that, come on, the stadium at Kumasi will not be approved due to the mayhem, that has been perpetrated by fans.
More so due to the fact that the stadium has actually lost its texture and quality. When it was approved, there was still some lush and green grasses out there, which makes the field very okay. Ball bounces very well. But then you take a look at the nature of the stadium. In the last game they played at home, where the fans went irate, they were on rampage because of the fact that the Black Stars lost. I mean, it was not the standard that CAF had already approved, and that is why they are giving an alternative plan right now to look for somewhere else. And the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium is maybe one of the stadiums that maybe the Ghanaians will be coming to. You talk about the Stephen Hobart Stadium in Ivory Coast that hosted one of the African Cup of Nations. And for me, I think it's going to be a good one if they make it down here. The Ghanaians, they are our brothers. Despite the Jollof Derby battle, they still know that we are their big brothers any day, anytime. So if they come here, it's going to be exactly. It's going to be an advantage for Nigerian government, but especially to the Akwa Ibom state government.
I love the last time I say especially to that state government, because and that should make other states. I'm just wondering, that should make other states to beef up and build up. We talked about River State so much that you have a bigger stadium compared to what we have here in Akwa Ibom, but yet the Dr. Mismaka Stadium is not refurbished to the level that we'll be hosting some of these continental games, not talk of FIFA engagements. But I think that this should be an eye-opener to see that, okay, look at Akwa Ibom attracting a lot of tourist attraction and also sporting event because of the edifice there.
True, and that is one of the essence of having some of these, world standard edifice. So for me, very, very commendable for Akwa Ibom state government, and that is why when you are a good leader during your time in office, people will definitely remember you. Gospel Akpabio, the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, he did a lot in order to ensure that he was able to put Akwa Ibom on the map, on the world map as it is right now. That is why, they are getting this, reward. I won't call it favor. It is a reward of what they
reward for expenditure, accountability, and using state resources optimally.
Definitely. So I think it behoves on leaders to also toe that line. When you are in office, you are in a position of authority. Try to do something very remarkable that even after you leave, the state, the citizen will continue to enjoy the benefit of what you put on ground, and that is how they get to remember you for good, and not when you are there, you just want to corner everything to your family, and all of that. You go abroad with your family, you stay there, you don't care, nobody remembers you, no legacy to show for it, which for me I think is very bad.
Very bad. And let's talk about one more story from the local scene, and then we'll now head straight to club football. Mike, Enugu Rangers set to play against the second leg of their clash this weekend, and the player Ifeanyi Onyebuchi saying that they are very ready for the CAF qualifiers.
Yes, it looks as the Enugu Rangers are ready. If there's anything to go by, I think their head coach talking about Fidelis Ilechukwu after the international assignment. He's back with the club as it is right now. So let's believe them that they are ready for this very one, to at least do us proud out, because we just have two Nigerian teams still left out of the four Nigerian teams that are representing Nigeria in the CAF organized competition. Two has been knocked out, two just remaining only two, which is Rangers International and the Enyimba of Aba. Let's hope that Rangers is going to keep the flag flying for us.
Start with foreign stories now. Yeah, just yesterday we saw the former coach of the Three Lions of England, Gareth Southgate, says that he does not regret leaving the national team. It's an opportunity for him to have learned a lot, and he appreciates. But then he's not bent on coaching right now. He's still enjoying his sabbatical or leave.
A lot of pressure comes with coaching the Three Lions in the national team. A lot of pressure comes with coaching the Super Eagles. A lot of pressure comes with coaching the Brazil national team. These are countries that, football is more like a culture for them. And whenever you are not churning out the result out there, it could be very, very difficult. In fact, you are sitting more like on a gunpowder, because it will explode any day, any time, because of the pressure coming from the fans out there if you are not churning out results, especially. So I think the man had his time with the Three Lions, did pretty well, took them to Euro back-to-back final, lost it, took them to the semi-final of World Cup, and was trying to revive or rejuvenate England back from the spirit of 1966, the last time they won the World Cup. I think for me, it has been an impressive ride for Gareth Southgate. But then in all of this, milestone that he achieved, no substance to show for it, because he didn't actually win any trophy, which for me, very bad. But then he must say that he was able to bring England back to reckonings.
Bring England back to reckoning. And Trezorspor, the chairman of Trezorspor is saying that Paul Onacho is too old to be given 15 million euros, for his transfer.
Well, when it has to do with African players, age and age cheating is always a challenge. The exception of this MIR scandal have come out to help the underage competition out there, to grade them so that they properly know where your age falls in between. It has become a thing of problem for African players over the years, and that is why it's very difficult. You see an African player playing up to 38 years, 39, 40 is very, very difficult. At most you get to 33, 35, you hang the boot. Even at that 35, you are an old man. So for me, I think it's a problem that Africa need to deal with. They need to tackle this if we truly want to compete with the European counterpart. Not that they don't also falsify their age, but they see difference in class. If it was to be a 19 years for the European, they will probably put 20 years difference or 1 year. But Africa, you are 30, you are saying that you are under 18. Take a look at that margin. So when you get to that peak where people expect you to be firing off from Oslo, and you just discover that you have retired, so that is the issue with African footballers. Age cheating, we need to correct it.
We, of course, should correct it, and let's get to see how far it goes. Many thanks to you, Michael, for being part of the conversation this morning. I'm sure I'm going to come back later. I'll have more stories yet to be attended to. I'll have more time to look at club football on the show this evening. Of course, we can also have someone joining us live to also give us some update on what is happening around the international scene. Don't go anywhere.